BPOs are becoming increasingly popular as companies look to outsource their business processes. What is business process outsourcing? Business process outsourcing refers to hiring an outside company to perform in-house tasks. This includes everything from customer service to accounting to marketing. So, how does BPO work? There are several reasons why businesses may outsource a particular process. It could be that the company is seeking to cut costs or may wish to focus on other areas of its business. What is BPO used for? One of the most common uses of BPO is to reduce costs. By outsourcing certain functions to lower-cost countries, businesses can save significant money. Another everyday use of BPO is to increase efficiency. Businesses can free up their internal resources by outsourcing certain functions to focus on more critical tasks. BPO can also be used to improve quality. By outsourcing certain functions to experts, businesses can ensure they get the best possible results. Some business processes that are typically outsourced. Back office operations. Back office operations provide essential support services that keep businesses running smoothly and efficiently. All back office functions are accounting, information technology, human resources, quality assurance, and payment processing. Front office operations. Front office operations are responsible for handling customer inquiries, processing orders, and managing day-to-day operations. Customer services, marketing, and sales are front office operations. Top benefits of BPO. Reduce costs. Outsourcing is an excellent way for businesses with limited resources to reduce their overhead. This makes it easier on you, the client. There will be less competition from other companies in your area and much lower prices. Concentrate on critical functions. The company will be able to focus on what it does best instead of having other people do tasks that are not core competencies. Achieve better results in non-core functions. Outsourcing companies are considered the cutting-edge providers of services. For any business looking to outsource its non-core functions, these businesses specialize in processes and technologies that other organizations may not want or need. Expand global presence. Outsourcing can be an effective way to free up time for other essential tasks. In many cases, the in-house team can focus on managing local customers, while the outsourced teams are in charge of international customers who speak different languages and are located across multiple countries. Enable flexibility. Outsourcing non-critical functions is an excellent way for companies with challenging times ahead in their industry. They can outsource less profitable but necessary jobs that don't need constant attention. Improve speed and efficiency. Finally, by outsourcing specific tasks, companies can free up time and resources for other essential business functions. BPO risks you should be prepared to avoid. Outsourcing to BPO major player countries might be very cost-effective, but it is also accompanied by several types of risks. Risk 1. Security breaches. The Information Technology Department is often tasked with connecting the dots between their organization and a third-party provider. It's essential for hiring companies to have an IT team that understands how BPOs work to monitor threats from outsiders looking at potentially sensitive records on your end. Risk 2. Regulatory compliance requirements. Outsourcing can be an excellent way for companies to cut costs, but not just any vendor must do so. There are strict guidelines an organization needs to have successful relationships with their vendors and avoid costly mistakes that could get them into trouble, primarily if they're based outside of the country where you do business. To avoid any compliance issues, be sure to do your due diligence when selecting an outsourcing vendor. Make sure they're well versed in the specific regulations that apply to your industry and that they have a solid plan in place for keeping your data secure. Risk 3. Unanticipated or higher costs. This can significantly underestimate how much work needs to be done, resulting in higher costs than expected. To avoid this, it is important to have a clear understanding of the scope of the project from the outset and to budget accordingly. Risk 4. Relationship challenges. Organizational communication problems might arise with the outsourced providers, or there could be cultural barriers. Outsourcing organizations should ensure that communication lines are open between the in-house team and the outsourcing provider. Furthermore, it is important to build a trusting relationship with the outsourcing provider, so that any issues can be quickly resolved. Besides, they should be aware of potential differences and take steps to mitigate them. Risk 5. Overdependence on the external provider. The cost of outsourcing is that you are always at the mercy if they perform well. If there's a problem, bringing back in-house and moving contracts around can be challenging because relationships between organizations need careful management. So, make sure you have a contingency plan in place so that you're not left in the lurch if your outsourcing relationship suddenly ends. Risk 6. Increased potential for disruption. To maintain a long-lasting and profitable relationship with an outsourcing provider, organizations must monitor them closely. This includes financial or workplace problems at their outsourced partner, geopolitical instability, natural disasters like earthquakes that may cause damage near the company's base, changes in economic circumstances. Organizations need coping strategies which add complexity when it comes time to plan and prepare, but also ensure protection against potential disruptions. Major challenges that BPO industry facing. With the BPO industry growing in sales and providing new employment opportunities, it becomes increasingly appealing to people. However, several factors influence this industry and make it challenging for BPO companies. Regulatory scenarios in different countries. Regulatory bodies needed to provide a consistent legal framework with the new regulations from different countries worldwide, especially in Europe, where they're working on it most actively. The cost of running business. Many outsourcing firms struggle with investment and budgeting issues that can put additional strain on their finances when they're expected to provide everything to keep expenditure minimal, a challenge made more difficult because consumers are becoming demanding. Customer expectations and quality of service. The customer-centric market ensures that companies will have the best outcomes possible for their customers. However, firms that are new to the industry will have a hard time competing with established competitors. Employee retention and health issues. The larger companies have managed to reduce their rate of employee attrition. Smaller firms struggle to get new employees on board and keep them through tough times, because consumer demand does not seem to be picking up anytime soon. Equity and brand building. To remain competitive in the global market, BPO businesses need to spend far more than most companies do on promotional campaigns, leading to disgruntled ex-employees telling negative stories about their experience at your organization. How to choose the right BPO service provider for your business. Steps of BPO decision. Refer to the following list. Provides steps in order from first identifying needs throughout contract negotiation, so there won't be any surprises along their journey. Define your requirements and review potential vendors. It will help if you start by defining key stakeholders and engaging them early, setting all expectations for this process before beginning any work. Put together a request for proposal and source vendors. These include what service management model your company will use in developing, and sending out an RFP from market research to get all potential vendors on board, with the idea that somebody wants them. Choose the right vendor for your company. It is crucial to consider the risks and benefits determined from shortlisting potential vendors, and any other factors that may affect your decision. Negotiate the contract. The last thing any company wants is their contract with a third-party provider of services, which can be expensive if done wrong or even illegal in some cases. Ensure that all employees understand what's happening. Don't just involve those who will handle payments. Transition the work and processes to your chosen vendor. So it helps if you have open communication within your business and between you and service providers throughout each relevant process. Manage your relationship. You want your company to get all it can get out of this agreement, so make sure there are no surprises on the contract's end, plan accordingly and be ready for renegotiation. BPO service provider evaluation. An organization must also ensure they are getting value from their investment by evaluating providers on multiple dimensions. Experience. A company with ample experience will be able to help you deal not only with the assigned tasks but also provide an edge over competitors who offer similar services. Security policy. Ensure your BPO provider follows adequate measures, including having binding agreements such as a non-disclosure agreement. Your partner needs to be equipped with a security system so they can prevent unsolicited access to confidential information either. Reputation. Choosing a BPO service provider who can offer qualified resources for your project is essential. To avoid a below-par solution, pick an experienced BPO service provider who has worked in your industry. Technology. Without cutting-edge technologies in your office or submitting bids on outdated software that won't suit current needs, You could be missing out big time. Ensure your partner has access to cutting-edge technology and relevant processes for their functions. Scalability. A BPO provider must have enough resources to expand or shrink along with changing demands while demonstrating scalability. Only organizations that meet these criteria should provide reliable outsourcing options that consistently exceed expectations. Infrastructure. Select a provider that assures you of a robust infrastructure including high-speed internet connection, phone connectivity, UPS, data storage devices, interactive voice response system, predictive dialer, CRM software, and so on. Quality assurance. Picking an outsourcing partner who shares high standards for protecting sensitive details will help us maintain control over its integrity during every step of their process. Cost effectiveness. Compare prices among companies will assess how well each provides services to decide which is best suited based on what matters most. Sometimes low-priced providers have poor services while high-priced ones can't provide everything needed, so take care of choices wisely. Referrals. The best way is by using referrals from people we know and trust to get what you need to be done right away without wasting time going through endless resumes that will never lead us anywhere productive. Turnaround time. Turnaround time would help if you had someone with experience in delivering on their promises within set deadlines. You can go ahead without worrying about delays or other complications arising from the poor quality craft by your temporary staff members. With everything above about BPO, are you ready to find a reputable BPO unit?